Back on TYT Sports. Not Ben Mankiewicz, not J.R. Jackson, not Stephen O, not Tracy Sandler.
Not parking lot guy, not Starbucks attendant. That's everyone that gets asked on Jerks before me, or Turks and Jerks before me. So we had to work our way down to the D list.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
No, C- list, like Tom Brady's performance,
as I just said before. And as a way to revolt against my second, third string choice I'm going to choose a jerk who deservedly so should be mentioned on any football list. Just as I mentioned Adoree Jackson before, I'm going to reference the same game that should be called out on every single platform discussing the sport of football.
I'm really interested. Go on, because I think this might play into someone.
Jerry Tillery, the number 99 for Notre Dame. Did you see the game?
You're going to you just
Yes, I'm going to the game again. So this is because, by the way, I didn't have any real jerks for NFL, so this is football. It's the same thing. Monstrous hit on a receiver for USC. He hits the ground. He looks as if he can barely move. He's lost feeling in his arms.
In the head, right?
Jerry Tillery walks by. This is number 99 for Notre Dame. Just outright scumbag. Going to call him that already. And he kicks the guy's head. He doesn't kick him, right? So it looks like the USC player's helmet's resting on his foot. He just swings it just as a way of disregarding the fact that he could be concussed. I think he, in a way, symbolizes the protocol towards concussions, right? Because he does not care one bit that this guy may not be moving, may have a brain injury, may have a neck injury. It's like literally walking. Just imagine someone gets hit by a car, a little bit more extreme, but you go up to them, you just move their head. You're not told to leave them there, don't touch their neck in case some damage is done. And then just to follow that up, to just emphasize how horrible he wants to be in that game. He has another scuffle with another player and stamps on his ankle. Yeah, it's not as bad. I've seen people do that in every sport. But this guy just has a complete disregard for the sport that's given him a great opportunity to play football for a great college team that has a loyal fan base. And his coach, you could tell when he found out what this guy was doing, fuming, red in the face, just going crazy. And I haven't seen enough articles condemning the first act. I mean, the second act's stupid, right? But the first act just shows a complete disregard for someone that may have a potential injury to their head. Yeah, the guy's all right now, but if you've seen the hit, the person who delivered the hit was actually ejected for targeting.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I wish the NFL would do is you're immediately ejected for targeting.
Yeah.
Which I wish they would do it just because, and by the way, they take their time. College football takes their time when they look at a targeting call. And if it's that obvious and that severe, they just eject you from the game. If you want to clean up the tackling in football, that's one way to do it. It would have an enormous impact, of course, in the NFL if someone, like we were talking about in the Jerks clip, like Justin Houston, who's not a dirty player, happened to lower his head and go helmet to helmet with somebody, and they just ejected one of the best linebackers in the game. Yeah. But clean tackle. I was watching rugby over the weekend. They tackle cleanly, so why not do the same for the NFL and college football? Interesting choice. USC rolled through that game, and Colin Cowherd set the internet aflame with a tweet that said, for the college football playoff, 1 Alabama, 2 USC.
Interesting.
And he got shredded for it, but we can show you that tweet. USC's been playing really well, J.R. Jackson. I'm surprised he hasn't just popped into the studio just hearing the words USC twice in 2 clips.
Somewhere, whatever he's doing, it's that way.
He peeps his head up.
Just pops his head up.
As for I have a couple of jerks
back to the
this
NFL
week. For one, look, I get the Bears do not have Alshon Jeffrey, and Zach Miller was out, and most of their receiving corps. I know that Zach Miller is a tight end, but he plays more of a receiver's role in that offense. You can't drop wide open passes in the end zone in the fourth quarter. No matter who you are, no matter what your name is, no matter what your excuse or what your experience in the NFL is, Deontay Thompson and Bellamy both had miserable fourth quarter drops. The Bears set a record by the way, I love this, the Pro Football Focus era, which it's been 10 years, so you can just say in the last 10 years, they set the record for the most passes dropped in a game. I think we have the element, it's number 4, because it shows you some other important games down the stretch of some seasons. And it's not like the Bears are making the playoffs anyway, but Matt Barkley looked good. So element number 4 has Bears drop passes. And there you go. So week 12, 10 drops, the most since 2006. Of course, as NFL offenses become more pass-heavy, it's not surprising seeing teams like New England who throw the ball 50 times. More times you throw it, bigger chance that they drop passes. The Giants on there in 2007, the Saints, the Panthers in 2006, Baltimore recently, Seattle too. 10 drop passes, no excuses for that ever in the NFL unless you're about to get your clock cleaned by someone coming at you 150 miles an hour. Then I'm like, all right, well, you could have died. He could have got hit by a train. It's an excuse to drop a pass. So it did affect the Bears. The Bears weren't going, even if they won that game, they weren't going to the playoffs. Regardless, it's jerk-worthy. Another jerk-worthy mention that I'm going to make pretty quick because I do love how much ESPN and a few other mainstream sports media outlets love this narrative and refuse to actually go into it in more detail. Tyreek Hill had one hell of a football game last night. That is definitely true. Tyreek Hill also pleaded guilty to choking and hitting his pregnant ex-girlfriend. So please, for the love of God, do not start putting out this guy as a changed man just yet or anything to prove the latter. Recency tells you that he himself pleaded guilty, which means you don't get sympathy for your actions. It's something that drives me off the walls. I go, well, he didn't lie about it, and he's not trying to say he didn't do it. So he's this clean, good man because he came clean about an event. What he did was so despicable that he shouldn't have been drafted. And what the Chiefs said on draft day was, we had our vetting process. We vetted Tyreek Hill completely. Actually, I shouldn't even call it just Tyreek Hill a jerk. It should be the Chiefs too. Except they didn't. They vetted Tyreek Hill, and they went to his teammates. But as you playing on a sports team know in college, that your teammates will almost always back you up no matter what. Mm-hmm. Here's what they didn't do. They didn't talk to the victim. They didn't talk to the victim's friends. They didn't talk to the victim's family. They didn't talk to the victim's anything. So that's not a vetting process. Yeah. So yes, Tyreek Hill was part of, if not 50% of the reason, if not more, that the Chiefs won that game. And I understand the idea of separating church and state when it comes to football. What you do on the field shouldn't affect what you do off the field, and you should be analyzing it for what it is. But when I see headline after headline that Tyreek Hill saves the Chiefs, it should say comma, but can't save his own fucking personal life.
Yeah, and I think that's bullshit to separate that from like church and state. I understand a lot of people want to do it, and more often than not, it's just to completely deflect away from a bigger issue, which might create some cloudiness in the beautiful game of American football, because they don't want to focus on other things. They only care about the sport thriving and continuing to thrive. So I think you're absolutely right. I think that what people like to do, especially in the world of football, is because there's no real means to check in and see if they are going through the process. Like, does it make a good headline to be like, all right, Tyreek Hill's going to therapy, or he's trying to work through his issues? No, it's like, holy shit, he just had a phenomenal game. He's a changed man. How is he a changed man? Because he's playing well at football? Because his personal life doesn't affect, regardless his score. If he's playing bad, I guarantee they wouldn't be focusing on him whatsoever, and they wouldn't even like to give you information as to how he is a changed man. If he was playing shit, there wouldn't be any headlines on it. So it's just a means to, this is how they promote that someone's on the road to recovery based on how they're playing in the sport.
My biggest problem was this just happened. Yeah. This is not something that happened 10 years in the past. This isn't something that, you know, he's claimed on record or time and time again that he's understood what his mistake was or anything like that. This happened under a year ago. But just as many sports fans and many people will say, the same thing happened with Aroldis Chapman who went to the Cubs. If you perform on the field, you're forgiven by most people. Mm-hmm. Not here. Unfortunately, for Tyreek Hill, you can score as many touchdowns as you want. You could be the first player since, Lawrence Taylor, or you could be the first player since Terrell Owens, or the first player since Jerry Rice, or the first player since anything to score a kickoff return. I don't know why I said Lawrence Taylor, but kickoff return, punt return, receiving touchdown, rushing touchdown, throw for 3 touchdowns. It doesn't excuse what you did in the past, mostly because it happened so recently.
Here's the headlines. Tyreek Hill scores by run, pass, catch, blah, blah, blah. Tyreek Hill powers Chiefs to win. Tyreek Hill is a freak in nature. Tyreek Hill gives Chiefs a much-needed offensive boost. Tyreek Hill breakout game paves way for overtime win for Chiefs. And I get it. But if you go into those articles, I guarantee you not even 5% of them will mention the fact that, disclaimer.
Is that Google News? I read the first 6 this morning. Yeah. 0 on it. 0 on it. It's messed up. It should, there should be transparency in the NFL, the one thing that they need to work on more than anything else. Comment below, like, favorite, subscribe to the channel. It's nice to be back home and not that sunny LA. It was 45 degrees this morning.
Not bad. I like the cold weather, scarf weather.
No.
Yes,
Like, favorite, subscribe, Twitter, all the good stuff. We'll see you next time.